Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish, episode 97. My name is Peter Feliciano, and I am your host. And what the hell else? You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can support this podcast and all my musical endeavors because I am a musician, not just a handsome podcaster, at patreon.com/Conservatish. What else? You can see me on September 13th, Friday the 13th of September at Brick Mortar Music Hall in San Francisco. There's going to be drag queens and DJs. This is my album release party. I've been working on this album for 4+ years. Full band, horns. You know, it's going to be.
I thought you were
drag queens. Exactly. Drag queens and metal in the same show with hip hop DJ. So I'm pulling from everybody. If you know me at all, you need to be there. September 13th, Brick Mortar Music Hall. This is going to be fun. This is Alex B. He's been on the show before, the Libertarian. He was on episode, I think, 34. And, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
You got it, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So we were listening to things, and one of the things you first brought up, because let's just come out right out at the gate, is Trump didn't mock that retarded guy. Is that what
he did not? He did not.
Disabled, retarded.
He mocked him, but he did not mock his disability.
And I was like, well, because I would be fine with him doing it. Maybe that's heartless of me, but I'm kind of fine with him mocking a disability.
Look,
but
the
video.
So yeah, you can YouTube. Did Trump mock the disabled reporter or a disabled reporter? It'll start auto-populating on YouTube, but there will be multiple clips of him doing literally the exact same sound, face, and hand motion as he did. Some of them are more subtle, but there's one where he's mocking Ted Cruz, responding to a question about, I don't even know what it's, waterboarding. Yeah.
Right.
And he literally does the, I don't know, and it's basically Trump's horrible impression of somebody who is confused and doesn't know how to respond to a question.
Right.
And the sad coincidence was that the guy who he was mocking, I guarantee you Donald Trump did not remember what the guy looked like or anything about him.
Right.
And the poor guy has a horrible physical disability. And so that impression for that man was just a perfect storm for the media to jump on and say, oh my God, look at how he's mocking this disabled reporter. What a piece of shit. And I always see these memes and stuff on social media. Like, I think it says something like, I'll never understand how this wasn't the end of it. And it's a picture of him doing the thing, right? Right. And look, if you were watching that and you didn't have any context and you didn't know that he has done that exact same motion, sound, imitation many times, of course you're going to say, what a dickhead, he's mocking this poor guy's disability. And I thought the same thing the first time I saw it and saw who the guy was. And then you start actually digging a little deeper, which of course the media will never do for you, because it doesn't fit their narrative. And it's such an easy thing to just say, look at this, what a piece of shit, Donald Trump is an asshole, this fits our story, Donald Trump's horrible, Donald Trump's evil, and everybody, without looking any further, is of course going to say, yes, that's exactly what he did, and what a piece of shit for doing it. And if you're honest with yourself and you look at the other examples of him doing that exact same thing, you will realize, wait a second, he actually wasn't mocking the man's disability.
I'm so heartened by the angry, or not the angry, but I was talking to you about it. Like, there are a bunch of very liberal people who listen to this show, and I love you very much.
I do too. I don't know
they
you.
Sent me, they have all, there's been at least a good number. One of them is a black rapper who sent me a message the other day, or a few weeks ago. Hey man, I really like your stuff, but I can't support you vocally because I'll get canceled. Although not a lot of people are like canceling me. I don't know why, I don't know. And then there was a bunch of people. There was another guy who sent me a message, actually, Peter from Carlsbad, who's been on the show a number of times, who's really doesn't like Trump. And then when the stuff came out about him, what he said about Baltimore,
another example.
Peter texted me. He's like, "This motherfucker, I don't like Trump, but this is not racist to say that it's like, or shithole countries, not racist. There are so many things where it's just like, you have to take each thing as it comes. But the problem is people have gotten so entrenched in their bullshit that they, and I'm sure on the right side, blah, blah, blah. But the more, the grotesque side of things right now is on the liberal side. There are so many people on the liberal side who just refuse to let go of the narrative, who are looking for any little morsel that they can cling on to. And it's just, it's fucking stupid.
I know.
And it's childish.
You are right that it happens on both sides. I mean, there are conservatives who will, hear a soundbite on Fox News or some other conservative outlet. And
they do it to AOC, I think. The right does it to AOC.
That's a great example. Absolutely a great example. Where she'll make a gaffe and it'll just be repeated and taken out of context, and you'll only hear that small snippet, And I mean, I don't know, because similar to many liberals who see the clip of Trump mocking the disabled reporter or saying, that Baltimore is rat-infested shithole, where a human being wouldn't want to live. They, you hear that little tiny sound bit and boom, it fits the narrative that you want. That's the definition of cognitive dissonance, right? This fits what I believe and what I understand, and therefore I'm going to let it, be what it is, and I'm going to take it at face value and not question anything about it because it fits my narrative. It convinces me of what I've been telling myself and what I've been telling others, and so I'm going to utilize it for my benefit.
Right.
And AOC is a great example. I mean, I think her policies are destructive. I think she is a danger to American democracy. I think she is going to be a 2-term congresswoman, and she's going to be a blip on the radar that nobody remembers in 20 years. But for now, she's an easy target for the right.
I also think she hasn't been fucked in a long, really proper fucked in a while.
Very likely.
I think her man is probably a really nice guy, he's just very nice, You girls understand what I'm saying. He's nice. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
total beta. Yeah, I mean the mocking of the reporter is your quintessential example of finding a little clip, a soundbite, a video that's just fits the narrative of Trump as an asshole, an egomaniac, a piece of shit, a narcissist, all the things you want to use. And then there's of course the racist side, and that's where the Baltimore quote comes in.
Right.
Or this idea that he hates brown people and that's why he's caging children on the border, ignoring the fact that children have been caged forever, that policy was actually put in place to protect the children because they can't be kept in the same place as, some of these dangerous MS-13 horrible people who are caught at the border. Not everybody caught at the border is bad, and just because people at the border are being caged doesn't mean that the administration hates brown people.
No.
It means the administration wants secure, legal immigration.
Right.
So then people start saying, anybody on the right or who supports Trump is anti-immigration, and that is so ignorant. I'm all for immigration. Come to this country, make it better, flourish, make your family happier, healthier, more secure, pursue the American dream. That's what my ancestors did. Even though they were white Europeans, they had the same opportunity that you should have if you're coming from South America or Asia or Africa. It doesn't matter where, but do it, through our legal processes. Right. And everybody can now claim asylum, and it's just completely destroyed the idea of what asylum is designed for. If a middle class person from Latin America comes here and says, asylum, 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 what does that do to what asylum really is? It's the boy who called wolf. And caging people at the border or removing kids from their family. That's the big one, removing kids from their family, right? As though that's something that doesn't happen to every American citizen who breaks a law.
Right.
If I drive down the street and get a DUI, they're throwing me in jail and thus separating me from my children.
You saw that clip of Lieutenant Huff, that guy who he was at a Congress hearing, and AOC went after him, and he was like, if I get arrested for DUI and I have my son, you're supposed to separate me from my son.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then she says, well, the people claiming asylum aren't breaking the law. She turns the story away from the fact that, no, this isn't about legal asylum claimers. This is about illegal border crossers. There's two very different things. There's illegal border crossers and there's asylum seekers, actual legitimate asylum seekers. And, until we clean up the process, it's impossible to differentiate the two.
Right.
And
he came back perfectly. He was like, well, you can go on what is it, maybe 101, when that highway goes into, and there's a bunch of places where they're checking your car, checking your passport, like making sure you're okay to go back and forth, and if you came to there saying, yes, I'm seeking asylum, you would be put in line, you would be let in. If you're jumping over some tiny little fence in Texas, like, that's a problem. That's not the same thing. That's exactly right.
That's exactly right.
And it's not ignorance. I hate that it's ignorance. Most poor people, even in fucking Mexico, most poor people have Facebook, they have Google, like, or some version of something. Like, a lot of poor people have. I mean, I could tell you how many times I've, like, even if it's Boost Mobile or something. But a lot of people have access to a lot more information these days.
Sure.
So claiming ignorance that, I just didn't know.
No, exactly.
I just thought.
Exactly.
Do you think everyone around them is all telling them, yeah, you just have to run for the border? There's the racism of white liberals, especially, who assume that, like, even when you said the phrase middle class in Mexico, people, I genuinely believe, they haven't voiced it, they haven't told themselves or anyone else, but I genuinely believe there are white liberals listening right now who are like, there's a middle class in Mexico. Because they're racist cunts.
Right.
Like, the problem is that these people are like...
Everybody there is destitute and needs American help.
Yeah, there's either the very rich
They need the help of the white liberal American.
They need our help.
They need the white liberal American's
money. We are
money.
so important.
They need our money.
We need to help them because we're important. It's a self-centeredness. It's a egotism. It's not reality.
Well, and going back to, like, the reasoning behind policies like that, it's the same domestically with our laws. Like, the laws and the punishments are not only designed to rehabilitate and punish the person caught for breaking the law. They're also there to deter others from breaking the law, because there is a punishment.
Right.
And so if you illegally cross the border and you have the potential of having your children separated from you, it's going to have other illegal border crossers think twice about doing that, right?
Right.
And yes, it's a harsh punishment, but similarly, if just going back to the DUI example, like, if there were no punishment for DUI, like there wasn't 40 years ago, ask some old guy, like, what it was used to be like. They used to drive drunk all the time because the cop would be like, we need to get you home safely. You can take a ride in my car and we'll come back and get your car tomorrow.
Right.
So there was no reason not to drink and drive.
Right.
And obviously the laws have changed, and now people are more careful about it, and kids are taught every day, by their parents and their teachers and everybody else, how bad it is. Zero tolerance if you're not 21. And I remember being young and being like, I've had a beer, I need a designated driver. Now there's Ubers and cabs. So we're getting off topic, I guess. But the whole point is, laws are there to punish those who break them and to deter others from potentially breaking them in the future. And the harsher the punishment, the better the deterrent can be for preventing, mass breaking of a law. If there's no law against insider trading, I mean, good God, imagine how much more corrupt than already
that
is.
Stupid ass Martha Stewart,
right?
Fuck that bitch. So, do you feel weird about being on camera? Like you said, you were like, I'm gonna be on camera. Like,
man, I don't know. I mean.
I just like popping that bubble. I always feel like there's like it is strange, but not like your anonymity purposes, right? It's more like just like how does my face look?
Yeah,
because that's before
the camera turned on, I was like, does my fat roll hang out?
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's a little self-conscious, and it's weird enough to listen to your own voice on a recording.
Yeah.
It's going to be even weirder to like go back and watch myself.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, no, you will.
Probably
it's a lot of fun. I actually, the other day, I was cutting up, because what I do sometimes is I share clips of it to tease people into listening. Oh, by the way, a lot of fucking good it's doing. Listen, if you like this fucking show, you need to stop being a piece of dog shit. You need to share this with your friends. You need to subscribe. You need to like this video. I've been doing this for a fucking almost a year, and I'm just like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Bringing libertarian guests on it? I got you. Bringing drag queens on? Got you. Bringing trans comics? Got you. Bringing old people? Got you. Bringing hip hoppers and comedians and musicians? I fucking got you. And you cocksuckers.
I mean, I wonder if
Ingrata, mira.
I know you cut it back to releasing one a week.
Yeah. It's hard. I like ranting.
I know. And you got a lot of people that are interesting that want to get on here. You're on the show. So, you know, for your listeners, I don't live here in the Bay Area. My company is based here. So I'm out here every couple of months or so. And so this happens to be one of those weeks I was out here, and so glad we could connect. But, it can be, people. I mean, the episodes are a little long, and people, when there's 90
that's why they were saying.
of them,
I know. Listen, but that's why they were saying like, oh, one a week, and so I cut it down.
No, I think that's smart. I think that's great.
I have to be now a little more discerning with who I decide to have on the show.
Oh, I feel honored
because it's like, well, but it's like, I'm debasing myself right now by having you on the show, but. It's hard because it's like I want to have every type of person, and I've had lots of different people. But even if in a year, this is big, and I just wish I could show all of these other stories from episode 1 all the way through it, because it's like these are these conversations and these experiences I've gotten to share with people and for people are something that I adore doing.
You'll have to create like a best of, like a mishmash of like a bunch of episodes from your first year, and just take. Part of the hour or whatever it is, and put the first or the best, I should say, like 2 or 3 minutes from each. And
there's definitely some I can cut out. I'll never, the Will episodes, fuck that guy. The Good Girl, fuck that chick. No, I'm just kidding. Those are the people I've had on like 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Actually, episode 100 is coming up soon, and I'm going to have Jefferson Berge and my brother Will at the same time.
Nice.
So I just wanted to make them feel guilty for ruining my show. But yeah, no, I was cutting up a clip the other day, and I was listening to this one rant of mine ranting about women, and I listened to it probably like 10 times just because I really like it. I don't know if that's ego so much. All right, maybe it's probably ego.
Misogyny can be funny.
Yeah, dude, and I'm really good at it. But like it also is just, there's something about when someone's on a rant, me included, I guess, where like there's some passion coming through, and when there's passion coming through, it's eye catching. Your mind clicks into it. It's very interesting.
Get fired up about a topic, like it definitely draws people in, and whether you agree or disagree, either you're going to listen more intently because you're like, yes, that guy's right, or you're going to listen more intently because you want to poke holes in the argument. And
absolutely,
that's why people on one side or the other, love listening to the what's the guy's name?
Rogan?
Rogan for sure, but like Peterson, and of course my list will be more conservative, but what's the Jewish guy's name?
Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro and
Steven Crowder.
I don't like Steven Crowder that much.
You don't like him?
Nah,
Why not?
He annoys me. I don't know. He's just a schmuck.
I wish he's funny. He makes some really good points. I think he's smart.
No, he's smart, and I tend to agree with what he says. I just think he's kind
Schmarmy,
of
or
yeah.
I always feel like I said it in the past on the show, but like I always feel like we're kind of like the super friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody has their own. Everybody in the world has their own. There are some people. Mutual friend of ours, SR, is an accountant. Mm-hmm. In the Washington area, and he adores being an accountant. He just loves doing that shit, and there will be no point in my life where ever suffer through that. Like, the goal is to make enough money to pay some other motherfucker to do that shit.
Right.
But he just loves doing it. He gets lost in the numbers, and I'm never going to be that guy. So we all have different, strengths and weaknesses, and I think, it's kind of like the super friends of the conservative liberal movement is people like Peterson, who, like, if I feel like I want to get really like intellectual and like feel dumber than I am, I listen to him. Yeah. If I want to, have a place to see comedians, I'll watch Rogan, or musicians or whatever. If I want to, I've listened to Shapiro a bunch, but sometimes it can be a little too polished. You know what I mean? And then Steven Crowder
he's like a legitimate genius. And,
Shapiro?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, that's like a fact. Like when he speaks, like he's so, to your point, like he's polished, and his arguments, they seem really rehearsed, and I think that's a turnoff for some arguments. Mm-hmm. Like, if you've got like a rehearsed or a scripted response, but I think a lot of them are not. He's just so smart and quick that he can come back at a specific argument in a debate, and it seems almost like there's a teleprompter in front of him. And it's you know.
My favorites are the ones at the schools, at the colleges, where people would get in line and ask him questions, and he just, okay, how about this? And he puts it exactly, and it makes them look absolutely stupid. And it's just so much fun to just watch it. It's so much fun to just watch that. There are compilations, hundreds of compilations almost, of Ben Shapiro, Thug Life, where the
little glasses
the fake,
come down.
like,
I love that shit.
We got to talk about memes. My friend, who's a videographer, he listens to the show, and he sent me a video about Trump is the meme lord, not meme like exactly the picture, but meme as in something that gets, through repetition and through catchiness, gets clipped into people's lives, through the back of their mind, sometimes subconsciously, like as an example, Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
And how there are a lot of people who were like, oh, how could Trump win? How could this happen? And then, I had the guy on the show, it was like, Chris Storin was like, what was Hillary's slogan? And the guy was like, I don't know. He's like, exactly. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Make America Great Again. Whether you hate it or you love it, what that means.
For sure. And you just, when you said, how could people people saying, how could Trump win? There's a clip, and I watch it every once in a while. It just makes me crack up because it's a compilation of the pre-election sound bites about Trump having basically no chance of winning, right?
Right.
There's
I love that.
It starts off, I think, with Ann Coulter at like a round table with a bunch of liberal commentators. And Ann Coulter's she's a bitch. Like, I'm not a fan.
I like her stupid ass, dude.
I agree with a lot of her points, but
she's another one who
I don't think I would enjoy like sitting across the table at dinner with her and having a conversation. I think it would be
she would be a lot of fun to fuck, though. Okay, here's why she would be a lot of fun to fuck. I talked about this on the Jared show. I think she would be a lot of fun to fuck because she's so put together and so polished and so I'm controlling everything that just taking the keys from her would be so much fun. You know what I mean? Not rape. I'm not saying that. I'm saying taking the load off, put your hair down, baby, because I'm gonna wrap it around my fist and I'm gonna fuck the shit. Like, she would be fun to just take a. Sorry, continue. What about her?
I'm enjoying your diatribe. No, but in the clip, she says they say, who of all the Republican contenders, because this is before Trump was even the Republican representative that had been selected in the primaries, and who of all the Republican candidates has the best chance at beating Hillary? And without hesitation, stone cold, straight face, she just says Donald Trump. And the whole table laughs, right? And then the clip starts, and it shows, all these people talking about. It's like Barack Obama on SNL when he's like reading tweets, and there's a tweet by Trump that says, you will go down as the worst president in history. And Obama says, at least I'll go down as a president in history, right? And then drops the mic. Right. And there's a whole bunch of clips like that, and then it shows the election night as it starts becoming more and more clear, and like the Young Turks, who, God, I fucking hate.
I love that clip. I love them.
And they just start having like a legitimate meltdown. And
so much fun.
Yeah. Speaking of the Young Turks, have you seen the like conspiracy out there that? And I don't even know if I call it a conspiracy because there's a lot of truth behind it from what I have gathered. But that the Young Turks and that whole group funded. Which is normal. It's normal to fund and back somebody's campaign, but they, on a whole new level, they created AOC. They funded her. They actually held basically like a call-in for essentially like a casting for people to come in and read a bunch of stuff, and they selected her to be their candidate, and they made her, and if you go back into her history, she was conservative. She was a representative of like the Republican group in her college and like all this stuff, and then all of a sudden there's this huge pivot change. Right?
That's weird because that usually goes the other direction. Continue.
And yeah, totally. Usually you go liberal, and then as you actually like become something in your life, you start to realize that you're an idiot.
But the young, no, there's that wonderful quote: "If you're not a liberal by the time you're 25, you're heartless, and if you're not a conservative by the time you're 35, you're brainless."
Yeah, or you're broke.
Well, so okay, but I don't think the Young Turks pull in that much motherfucking money to be able to do that.
Well, I mean,
not continuously anyway.
Well, I mean,
you think they could be paying her now? Shit.
Well, I mean, no, I don't know, but it was a really interesting. It's a long clip, and you can YouTube like Young Turks AOC. I'm thinking out loud. I don't know,
but it's on YouTube.
But yeah, it's definitely on YouTube, and they pull all the different pieces together and make a pretty compelling, conspiracy,
right?
Whatever you want to call it, argument out of it. And people's response is always like, yeah, people back candidates all the time. But the unique thing here is that they created the candidate. They didn't back somebody that was already out in the field trying to generate support. It was like, we're going to create somebody. These are our views. We're going to dump them on somebody. We're going to make them.
Right.
And that's why she's so awful off script. If she's trying to talk from the cuff and is answering questions, like, she doesn't make sense. She doesn't. Yeah. She bounces all over the place, off topic.
She's young too. I mean,
she is. And quite frankly, she's not even worth discussing. I mean, she's going to get destroyed in the next election. She's not going to be, an ongoing representative. And
you think?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like she's such a polarizing person. Really, the only attention she gets is anti-AOC. I don't see anybody who's
look at the national, and national doesn't matter because all that matters is her local constituents. But
which is New York, right?
Yeah, she's Brooklyn. No, Queens.
Okay.
And they've already polled her district, and she's got horrible numbers now. Her own mother moved to Florida because taxes were too high in New York. I think that's hilarious.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes down to it, when the older people get, the reason why they become more conservative is not because they're heartless. It's because they start realizing the real world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When we're young and we're idealistic, it's easy to just be like, this is all heart. I just have a feeling, and I'm going to defend that feeling. And we don't have a good idea of introspection or or self-honesty.
Sure. I mean, I think a lot of the liberal and left-leaning views, social, economic, and so forth, I mean, nobody can say like they're evil or bad, and that's why they get on this like moral high horse, right? Because, I just want everybody to have a chance, and I want everybody to, have a leg up and get an opportunity to succeed. And when you start getting into the whole like white privilege topic, that's a whole different idiotic issue. But
right.
I mean, who can argue with like the ideal that everybody should succeed and be happy? Like that's a beautiful, wonderful thought. But
that's a great idea.
The world is real, right?
Like what would be their end game? Is someone who's super against privilege of any kind? Because it's gone way beyond just like any version of this narrative. It's gone way beyond white privilege. It's gone into now there's fat privilege or weight privilege. Have you heard of this? Mm-mm. So there's people who are fat and they say that, well, you have body privilege to skinny people. So you just don't understand the plight. Now, I've been a fat kid my entire fucking life, but I'm responsible for that. Okay, like sure, some of it is my makeup, my whatever. There's a lot of people. Our friend Jake, who's been on the show, he cannot put on weight for the fucking life of him, and I don't feel bad for him at all about it. But my decisions put me to this place anyway. So what is the end game? So if people make a good living, I guess the end game would be for them. I'm trying to put my head in their fucking shoes. I guess the end game would be that nobody makes more than a certain amount or less than a certain amount, so that it's all even Stevens. Mm-hmm. Like so that we can all focus on art and culture and like sex. Or what? I don't understand that. I mean, I don't understand how. Besides the fact that in reality, struggle makes a wonderful art.
I mean, the general belief is there's no reason and no productive use of people having, billions upon billions of dollars, right? Nobody needs that. Once you hit a certain point, why does it matter? Right. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I was out to lunch with literally a guy on the 300 richest people in the world list yesterday or Tuesday. He's worth a good $8 billion.
Tell him about my podcast.
And this guy is, he's one of those people. He's also a liberal. He's also he and I would butt heads a lot about policy and so forth, but he's not shelling out his $1 billion to the guy on the corner of the street and all these social programs. I'm sure he's philanthropic, and that's great.
Absolutely.
But the argument being, nobody should have that much money, right? But also nobody should be completely without money and without basic necessities. So there must be a happy medium where everybody can have what they need, and the only way to achieve that is to target those people with, so much that there's too much to do with. And the reality is, like, that just doesn't work. And the reason that people have that kind of wealth is because they have generated, far more than what they personally have in wealth for the world, for the country, through the opportunities, the innovations, the Bill Gates and the Mark Zuckerbergs, like all the money they have. Sure, it's ridiculous. It doesn't bother me a bit, know.
I mean, there are some people who are just straight up born into it, and they don't have any. Even if they're born into it, they don't create anything to move it forward or to make life better for other people. But most of the time, it's like Yaron Brooks. You listen to Yaron Brooks.
Yeah, but isn't that our like ultimate goal? Like, I don't know. I'm an East Coast guy.
I'm not saying being born into it is the problem. No, but being born into it and not doing anything with it.
I have no respect for those who do nothing with it.
Right.
But I mean, on the flip side, East
that's what
Coast,
we're working for.
East Coast,
son,
exactly. East Coast old money and West Coast money are very different.
Right.
West Coast money is what can I do with it right now, and the house I can buy, and the East Coast money is usually, how can I create this so that generations to follow will be comfortable and healthy and their college paid for and all those things. Right. And that's the goal that people look to succeed for. It's not just, I want to have all these nice things for myself, but, call me greedy, but like, yeah, I would like to be like a multimillionaire in the next couple of decades. And the main purpose of that is so that my non-existent children and my nieces and nephews and anybody else that comes after me,
right,
is set up to succeed. And did my privilege, create that if I am to get there? Like, no, I'm not there now. I have to earn that. I have to create that. So, like, look, the reality is, even in a socialist or a communist world, like there's wealth disparity. Do you want it in the public realm and the government and all those corrupt individuals controlling the wealth, or do you want the private sector controlling the wealth? That's really the question you're asking. Right. And it's much safer in the private sector's hands.
There's a dog.
Hey, puppy.
Where did that dog come from?
Chihuahua.
Who do you belong to, sir? Why are you growling at? We're on the other side of the door. Anyway.
So, I mean, look, no matter what, it's never going to be all even Stevens. Like, if that's the end goal, like, it's never going to happen. And, the programs that have aimed to achieve that, the welfare programs and, the New Deal and all those things have only exacerbated the problem. They have only made
a bigger problem, like affirmative action.
Yes,
where like
the wealth gap
now
is only
the Chinese
grown because of those things, right?
Right.
Because all it does is make people reliant upon the handout and makes them less likely to use the conservative tagline, like pull themselves up by their bootstraps,
right,
and actually earn more than what they could if they were just getting the handout. And the incentives aren't there to do anything.
What would you say to those who are saying, because I've heard that tagline recently put down by people about like how that's heartless?
What, to pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, either you're a capitalist Darwinist or you're not, right? And people who aren't don't see the same as I do and others do who have those views. And I'm never going to convince them necessarily that my view is right. The argument that one is evil or wrong is ridiculous.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with being bad or good. They're not bad. They actually mean well. I believe that they want people to be healthy, secure, have the things that they need to survive and be comfortable. Like, wanting that for people, I want that for people, right? I want everybody, I mean, I'm philanthropic. I give money to charity. I sit on boards of charities. I hand out money to the homeless guy. I do every little bit that I can in my own little way to try to make, on a given day, people better off. But ultimately, my vision of how to create a more equal world is different from theirs. And I do believe that removing those safety nets in the long run And that's the big difference between my views and most of the people on the left. Most of the people on the left is, I want to fix this right now, today. Band-Aid. I want a quick fix, Band-Aid, rip it off, let's fix it. The problem is, none of those things ever work in the long run. You know, socialist sounds great right now. Eventually, you run out of people's money to take, right? And the programs just, they always end in disaster.
Right.
And it would look and sound and feel good for everybody for the first, I don't know how long, it could be decades.
Right.
But eventually it will be horrendous. And similarly, these welfare programs that exist today have only made our wealth disparity and the problems of the inner city people, urban centers, mostly minorities, worse than they were before these programs went into effect. A lot of that comes from the fact that, the incentives are completely flipped.
What do you mean?
So if I'm on welfare, I get more money if I don't have the father figure in the home. If I'm a woman with kids, I get more money if there's no father in the home.
Right.
So I want a fatherless home.
Right.
I talked about this on the last podcast. What is the number one indicator that somebody is going to end up in either prison or, poverty? It's a fatherless home.
Right.
The number one indicator, not race, not, geography, not education, not any of those things. Not all, but the number one indicator is, whether or not you had a father in the home. And then people, knock conservatives for wanting family values back. And that's not the problem. You talk about the reason that the mass shootings are out there, all these things, like people like conservatives truly do feel that the removal of the family home in America is causing a lot of problems. And one of them is economic. And so, when the incentives are to have more kids equals more money, and to not have a father in the home, all that does is create a bunch of kids without a father who have no, direction and aren't in a situation and in a home that's going to actually steer them towards the right things in life. And it's just going to create a cycle where it's rinsed and repeated.
The only things modeled for them are that same lifestyle. How far do you go into the idea? Because Epstein just killed himself a few days ago, and how far into the idea? How far into the idea? Because I get the people, the liberals, they have good hearts. They're coming from a right place, right? But how far into the idea do you feel, or do you personally go when it comes to, okay, the people down here, the liberals down here, they all mean well, but there's a couple motherfuckers up here who are doing some nasty shit and know how to sway these people's feelings.
Oh, man. So, obviously, Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. I mean, is this even a question? Like, none of your viewers actually think he committed suicide. If they were like sitting on the shitter by themselves and like thinking through what's actually going on, they'd be like, that dude got killed. Yeah. But it doesn't fit their story, and people on their side would never do such terrible things. Or if he did get killed, it must have been Trump, because Trump knew Epstein too, right?
Right.
And I mean,
have you seen the list of how many people the Clintons have killed?
Oh God, it's crazy.
It's fucking
even
it's
if it wasn't
incredible.
The Clintons. I mean, the Clintons are the easy target, but there are so many powerful people that Epstein had on his island, fucking little kids.
Literally 9 of their bodyguards have died.
Yeah, and then you got that guy who got shot on the street, who was a whistleblower in the email scandal.
Yep.
You've got
there was a list. I think it's 40 people total. Yeah, 43, 44. Anthony Cumia does a wonderful video where he goes through every single one and he's making jokes about it. It's hilarious. But it's just a little too. It's just a little too fucking
like
weird,
conspiracy
man.
Theorist on this episode. No, not your fault. My fault.
Where that lies for.
I mean, I've talked about the whole AOC Young Turks thing. I'm talking now about the Clinton body count, right?
Right.
I mean, look, ask yourself, if somebody is on 24-hour suicide watch in one of the most maxed down security prisons of all time, even if they're taken off, 24-hour suicide watch, what are the odds that in that place, for the first time in documented history, the security cameras all go out the second or the night that this happens, right?
There's a new security guard on
There's
on
a new
deck
security
who's
guard
not
on
normally
duty.
from there.
There's so many things, and
But nothing's going to happen because now I do think Jim Norton made a salient point this morning. He said even if that guy who knows most about everything, it's not like these victims are dead. Mm-hmm. These victims are able and willing, or hopefully willing, maybe less willing now that Clinton killed somebody, but they're able and willing to say, hey, I had sex with this guy. I had sex with this guy. This guy fucked me when I was whatever.
I'm not necessarily saying that the Clintons were the ones that had to do with Epstein's death. Could it have been the Clintons? Sure. Could it have been any of the other number of powerful, on the right as well? Sure. Any of the other powerful people out there that were absolutely fucked because of what he knew?
Right.
And to your point, he's not the only one that knew it. But, right, left, middle of the road, there are so many incredibly powerful people that, eventually anything and everything they could have wanted from Jeffrey Epstein, they didn't need it anymore. They didn't want it anymore. They couldn't use it anymore. And
so you're essentially saying it could be somebody, but it's not Jeffrey who killed Jeffrey.
Yes. Okay. And I mean, the Clintons are a funny, easy target, because they have been behind so many sketchy deaths, and and obviously because Bill was very closely tied to Jeff Epstein, and he's already been caught in like blatant lies, right? He said, I only flew on Jeff Epstein's plane four times,
right?
And the manifests already show 27 flights, some with his private, security, some without, most with underage girls on the plane. Like, that's so easily provable wrong. Like, why would he even come out and say I was on 4 flights when they were like, no, here's the manifest. You were on 27 of them, right? I mean,
it's possible that he was, chartering that flight so he could go from, that pedophile island was just a stop before he headed back to, Arkansas.
Look,
but
the dude was murdered. Yeah. Who did it? I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say I know it was the Clintons. I mean, are they as likely as anybody else? Sure. But I mean, come on. Like,
why would they still be propping that up?
That there's like these crazy abilities of the powerful in the government to do things like that. People don't want to believe that that's actually possible in America today.
Right. Well, I would say that part of the reason why I feel like it wouldn't be as so, even though I definitely believe in Clinton, is that I feel like not that many people are good at keeping secrets, especially in the days of social media, especially in the days of cameras everywhere and photos everywhere and people selfieing
money
in front
quiets
of
people, man.
At graveyards.
Money quiets people, and
Touché.
Jeffrey Epstein never. They've now realized the dude was supposedly like a billionaire financier. He's never like had a legitimate job. All of his money was made through these sex trades, right? So everything was all built off of people basically saying, we want you to give us access to underage children and all this crazy shit that I can't even fathom. Like the fact that, like, that's another thing. People don't even want to think about the fact that adult American men are doing that shit, especially people that we respect and we elect and we actually like lean on to be quote unquote leaders.
Right.
That'll tear down your whole belief and confidence in our entire foundation of what it is that we strive to be as Americans. And so to acknowledge and accept that those types of things are happening in this world today is
it's a little too heavy for us.
Yeah, it's too heavy. It's way too heavy. So all this money came from his illegal activities, from these child sex trafficking activities, billions upon billions of dollars, private islands, private planes, New York, ridiculous mansions, billion-dollar homes. I mean, all that money was because he was providing these services, which means there was so much money coming to him from these people. And if he was able to keep that much, think about what he was paying out just to keep it under wraps, whether it was to authorities to not, do anything about it, whether it was to the victims in order to keep them quiet, the hush money. I mean, the amount of money that must have been exchanged is not, I mean, you can't even comprehend the amount of money that must have been going back and forth and to all these different places. So you talk about people aren't good at keeping secrets, but man, there are a lot of secrets that are still out there in this country, and I don't know if money is buying that quiet, but there are ways to keep it under the wraps. There are just ways.
Well, what if I mean, if we think about the end game thing, what about the idea that what would happen if we actually, like, I know you and I have spiritual practices, and so everybody kind of needs a tether. But even without the tether, what would happen to most people if it did turn out that all of that was true? I mean, I don't know if I have that much of a lack of faith in. Now, I'm not saying humans are wonderful, but I'm saying we're both wonderful and demons at the same time. I don't think I would think that people would be that like, oh my God, like, there were, the mob did or the government did kill Kennedy and Epstein and all this stuff. So fuck it, I'm just gonna run into 7-Eleven and grab milk and just run out. Like, I don't think that would affect our lives that deeply.
See, I won't even.
It would be the biggest story of all time, but I don't think that it would be.
I mean, like, the
type
sociology
of thing where we're
behind
not,
that is crazy, right?
What do you mean?
I can't even fathom what the reaction would be. Right. I mean, would there be people that were just like, fuck it, like if they're not going to follow any rules and they're going to do all these horrible things, like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to, I mean,
maybe.
But there are already people like that. I mean, there's people that just don't give two shits for
crazy
the law.
Is crazy already.
I mean, man, you'd have to. I'd love to hear. I mean, to bring it back to like family values shit. I mean, it's a tough discussion to have with anybody that is anti Second Amendment or pushing for hardcore gun law changes or gun bans or whatever. Right. But I mean, call me a crazy right-wing nut, but I tend to believe that these mass shootings are not gun issues.
No.
And if you really want to get to the root, it's not even mental health issues. I mean, it is mental health for the individual, but from a society standpoint, it's not a mental health problem, right? It's years ago, decades ago, before these mass shootings were happening, there weren't less guns on the street. There weren't, it's not an issue of today's guns are more accessible or more dangerous.
Right.
It's all a matter of basically just people are lost, man. People in this country are lost. And, moral direction and, just caring for our neighbor is completely abandoned. And the left thinks that caring for our neighbor means the rich guy needs to give his money to the government, and that's how we care for our neighbor, right?
Right.
That's how we care for our neighbor.
Right.
We point to the really rich guy and we say tax him 70%, and that's how I care about.
That's what communists have always done, though. That's what communists have always done.
And
it's
right,
the bourgeois. It's the bourgeois, and then the net for what's a bourgeois or what's a rebel gets wider, and that definition gets more vague and more vague until literally everybody's getting put in gulags. So I'm thinking that maybe it's that idea of. So what I heard about the 60s being was a reaction to the 50s, that false American dream. And then it turns out it's not the American dream of there would be jobs or whatever. It was this American dream of like everything's perfect. We're not talking about how much rape and murder is happening. Like everything's perfect, everything's fine. And then they come out into the real world and there's Vietnam and all this shit, right? And social civil rights, like actual civil rights, and things like that. But now maybe it's this idea that the lie that these kids have been sold is you don't need a God, you don't need a family, you don't need this.
You're right.
You don't need any. You don't need structure. Structure is the problem. And then people get out into the world and they realize that they were lied to, and so they get either ultra right wing or they find someone to pin it on, and then it's like, okay, it's the fucking bourgeois again who fucked us. It's the white cis hetero male.
Just today, and as we speak, before we started, the shooting was going on in Philadelphia. I assume you heard about that. I don't know.
No.
It's not a mass shooter out killing people in the street. There's a guy holed up in a building, and this story is going to come out after this podcast, and people will know better than I do right now. So I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know because the news is better than I am because it hasn't come out yet. But basically, there's a guy. It was a called-in drug bust. Guy holed up inside of a building in downtown Philadelphia, and he's now shot. As of before the recording of this, 6 cops, and there were some hostages in the building. And anyway, as soon as the news broke, Twitter freaked out, right? Another mass shooting. The headline was, cops are arriving in Philadelphia for a live shooting. And of course, after Dayton and El Paso, everybody's immediate reaction is, oh God, here we go again. But I went to the of course, CNN Twitter feed, and there were more than 50% of them were mocking the conservative response of thoughts and prayers, right? They're mocking that response, oh, another shooter, better send our thoughts and prayers that way, ha ha ha, right? And that's the left's attack on conservatives, not willing to do anything, right? There was even a gif of a bunch of buttons on a computer panel.
Yeah.
And one of them is thoughts and prayers, and the rest of them are do something, change the laws, whatever. And mocking the idea that thoughts and prayers are going to be the solution.
Right.
As a conservative who likes the idea of thoughts and prayers, is my thought that sending thoughts and prayers to the victims in that minute is going to be make the situation better? No, absolutely not. But my belief that more thoughts and prayers in the American home could prevent these things from happening in the future? Yes, absolutely.
On a fucking real basis, goddammit. Children, listen. God, that's a fucking great point. On a real life basis, if I am responsible for my cul-de-sac and you're responsible for your family and everybody's responsible for what they can actually change. I can't change iTunes. I can't change Spotify. I can't change any of that shit. I can't change the government. I am responsible for what happens with me and my family. What are the spiritual benefits to prayer? Even if you don't believe in God, what are the spiritual benefits, mental, emotional benefits to thoughts and prayers? They are a thought of others, less self-centeredness. They include connection to those who are alive, and you can all pray together and thoughts together. Let's all think about someone else. Let's all pray about someone else. Thoughts and prayers are not empty. You're fucking absolutely right. And because that family might all oh look, I'm showing my child how to think of other people,
right,
and how to be somber and how to be respectful. That is going to explode and that'll promulgate into other fucking areas and other families.
For the people who stand on the moral high ground and sit there saying the right is the immoral, the bad side, the wrong ones, and then mock them for being thoughtful and prayerful in times of disaster, it seriously breaks my heart. And on the surface, ignorant level, I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I get where they're saying, screw your thoughts and prayers right now. Do something about this. Change this, right? But going back to the immediate short-term fix versus the real core of the problem, core of the issue, long-term fix, changing the Second Amendment laws, number one, isn't going to stop any of these shootings. No. It's not going to change anything. No. And number two, while the short-term prayers and thoughts aren't going to make those victims rise up from the dead and heal their wounds, and we're not calling on Jesus to come down and stop the shooter in that moment, that's not what's happening. What's happening is people are saying, man, I can't fathom somebody having the mindset of wanting to go shoot down a bunch of random strangers on a street. I can't put myself in that mindset. It doesn't register with me. It doesn't register with your viewers. It doesn't register with 99.999% of people.
Right.
For whatever reason, those people exist, and they didn't used to exist. And there has to have been something that changed. The prevalence of guns did not change.
Right.
I don't think it's video games. There are conservatives who do, and people are saying, "Oh, too many video games," mocking that idea. I agree with you. I don't think video games have anything to do with it. I don't think they're helping, but I don't think they have anything to do with it. I think it comes down to, yes, call it cliche and cheesy and wonky, whatever. It comes down to, just the moral fabric, the core family, value of American culture is just completely eroded. And that has happened and pervasive all over the place. You see it especially in, crazy leftist cities like San Francisco, where there's no appreciation for, and forget traditional value. What is traditional about having a family? Like who doesn't want that, right? And people are saying, well, some of these shooters had families and parents, but
so okay, I can relate to that feeling. I can see myself left like without a spiritual life. No, I'm not saying if I didn't believe on God, I would shoot up people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, there was a fork in the road when I was 15, and I either had to get sober, or I was going to stay in anger and fear.
Sure.
And I would have most likely just imploded and killed myself. But I also could have exploded and killed other people. I would absolutely see myself doing that. And one of the things that we never talk about when this comes up, even comedians, no one brings up the fact that I'm going to say it very unpolished. Mm-hmm. No one ever talks about the fact that these mass shooters are faggots. Like no one ever talks about these are wimpy little cunts. Like this fucking whining. No one likes me at school. Oh, you fucking faggot, dude. Grow the fuck. I feel powerless in my life. No one likes me on Facebook. I'm gonna get a gun. No one ever talks about how fucking these guys are fucking faggots, dude. Grow the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Now, do I understand the feeling? Yes, I do. Everybody understands. No one likes me. I'm afraid. No one likes me. I'm afraid. I'm alone. No one likes me. I'm afraid. I'm alone. I feel powerless in my life. That's what happens when people feel powerless for long enough. They do some horrible shit. Maybe the lie. Remember the whole the 60s were a reaction to the 50s lie. Maybe the lie isn't that we don't need a God. Maybe these powerless people, people who feel powerless, feel so sunk in the idea of how many people there are, and how social media has shown everybody. Look at how many people there are. Now we have, what's going on in Dayton.
2,000 friends, right?
Right, and I only have 73. Yeah. Or look, you now know what's going on in Dayton. When in fucking 50. 60 years ago, you would hear about Nagasaki. You would hear about a shooter maybe on the Dow. You would hear about these shit, but you wouldn't hear about some guy killing his wife. You wouldn't hear, like, the access to these horrible things that may have already been happening is now right in our faces, and you see the weight and the depth. It is an insurmountable idea of how many people there are and how the population is growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and look, people want to point to something to have caused these shootings, right? So now a lot of people are pointing at Trump's rhetoric, right? Trump's rhetoric is causing this.
Fucking hot shit.
It wasn't Obama's rhetoric when the shootings happened.
He literally, the gunner went into a fucking elementary school,
right,
and gunned down 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
When Obama was in office.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
My point being, it has nothing to do with who's in the Oval Office.
Turds.
Yes, okay, the dude in El Paso, I think it was the El Paso shooter, wrote a manifesto, but it was completely off base. And the crazy
how gay
sad
that is
thing,
too. How gay I'm gonna write a manifesto.
And back to your point of like thought and prayer getting us out of our selfishness. Like, how narcissistic is it to think that people give a fuck what I have to say? I'm going to write a manifesto because I matter, right? And I'm going to make sure people know I matter, so I'm going to kill a bunch of people.
Right.
That's the most selfish, self-centered, egotistical, just awful place to be living. And so, going back to the whole like Trump rhetoric thing, it's not Trump's rhetoric, man. Right. It's the media's twist on Trump's rhetoric.
Right.
I made a social media post about this recently. Like, the whole idea that Trump said that there are good people on both sides, going back to things that are not true. Trump did say there are good people on both sides. That's all you heard. If you actually follow the whole clip, Trump said, no, I'm not talking about the white nationalists, the white supremacists, neo-Nazis. That's who I'm not talking about. Right. If Trump said there were good people on both sides and he was talking about the neo-Nazis, that means he was also saying that the Antifa folks were good people. Would Donald Trump ever say that there were good Antifa people? Shit, no, right? And so if you listen to the actual situation, he was saying, yes, there were good people on both sides. There were historians, professors of history that were sitting there peacefully saying, don't take these down. There were people on the left wanting them taken down who were calm and non-Antifa psychopaths who wanted them taken down. There were good people on both sides. That does not mean the neo-Nazis and the Antifa fags were the good people. And that's not who Trump was saying. But when the media, CNN, MSNBC, and everybody else says, Donald Trump says that the neo-Nazis were good people, that is what empowers the neo-Nazis to say, I have a voice in the White House. Even though Donald Trump himself specifically said, I am not talking about them. I am actually talking about those other people. The media doesn't want to twist that because it doesn't fit their narrative. And then the media creates the story that says, white nationalists have a voice now. They should be empowered. No, Donald Trump isn't doing that.
No,
Donald Trump isn't doing that. The media's twisting his words is doing that.
Right.
And so they might believe, just like you believe, that Donald Trump said that they were good people. That's not what he said. And the media is the one that created that story, not the president.
My favorite thing about this podcast is watching the eyes open of the liberal people who have listened to my show. There were a lot of liberal people who were like, oh, Pete has a podcast. I love his music. He's funny. He's a great conversationalist. Let me start listening. Holy shit, he had someone who likes Trump on the show. Get it away. Unfriend, cancel. Faggots. But then there will be very strong, wonderful, courageous, free motherfuckers who listen to this goddamn show every fucking week, even though they hate Trump. And the doors are starting to open. Look at what you're being offered. Look at the shit sandwich that you're being offered. Not just in Democratic politicians, but in narratives. Look at the lies you're being told, and you'll start to realize at a certain point you kind of have to go. Like if right now you were being told that it's somebody who fake speaks Spanish. Somebody who fake speaks Spanish.
Such a fucking idiot.
Someone who fake speaks Spanish and is like trying to look. I'm more Democrat than that guy. That guy is a bad. I'm gonna call Joe Biden a racist, even though he was the vice president for the fucking first half black, by the way. He wasn't. Obama was not the first black, but he's the first halvesies. And as a halvesy, I can fucking say that. Let's be fucking real. He wasn't fucking 50 Cent black. He was fucking Carlton at best.
I think Carlton's really black.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like he was Carlton feeling. But even though he was the vice president of the first black, like this, if you were being offered Joe, like fucking Cory goddamn Booker and Trump, come on, dude, come on. You know when the curtain closes and it's just you and me in there, you're listening to my podcast and you're remembering all those nice people who said that they like Trump, and you're like, it's coming down to it. Do I want the fake Spanish guy or I want the fucking loose cannon?
Kamala Harris, who fucked her way into politics.
Ooh, I gotta know this. Wait, can we piss? Because I gotta fucking piss like a motherfucker. All right. Or we're gonna take a quick piss. We'll be right back, and then we're gonna talk about how Kamala Harris fucked away in politics. I'm so glad we had this time together. What time is it? It's
9:40-ish.
Oh yeah, 9:40. Okay. So, support this podcast to patreon.com/conservatish. Find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano, and September 13th, big album release party at Brick Mortar Music Hall. Don't be a cocksucker. Show up and suck my cock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kamala Harris fucked her way into, what is it?
Yeah. No, we were talking about just like what a clown show the Democratic primary is right now.
Yeah.
And it's all like who can out left wing who. Mm-hmm. But,
Which it's always, to be fair, it's always been that way when anyone is running for office. Number one, they have to villainize the other side, especially on the left, let's be real. And number two, they have to, quote unquote, appeal to the very far left or the very far right. You know what I mean? Just like, let's be honest. I like Trump.
I'm with you.
But I'm not saying, I wouldn't say he's Mr. God either. Mr. Christianity either. But he had to appeal to that side.
When I just throw this out there for your listeners who hopefully will understand me a little better. Like Donald Trump, there are so many things about Donald Trump that I dislike as far as like him being a person, a human being. Like he is.
I think he's emotionally childish, way too defensive.
Oh my God, he's
I don't have small fingers. You have small fingers.
Yeah, I mean, he's an absolute child. There's no question, and he's petulant. He's his Twitter nonsense is ridiculous. It's just There's so many things about him that I personally would never like.
Shh, we have hang on. Okay.
We have a guest.
Ladies and gentlemen. The host of another thing that we won't necessarily share.
See ya.
See, we get visited from celebrities here on Conservatish.
No, he's a child. He's in many ways a narcissist. He's not as great of a businessman as he claims to be. He's all kinds of things wrong with him. The dude, like, I would never want my, I don't know, mother to date him, right? Like, I mean, he's a piece of shit. But there's a lot of things that he's doing politically and from a policy standpoint and from just an overall, like, aim for, yes, America, that I absolutely support him on board with. And I can put aside my personal disdain for him for the betterment of myself and my fellow Americans, including you, who hate him.
Which is a really important point too, because essentially you, just like a lot of the Trump supporters I've had on, even ones who are Mexican and black and woman, immigrant, are people who put policy above personality. And policy is what really sways things. It's what really affects our lives. Personality does not really affect our lives except for on Twitter. Or, you know, like, it's not as much, maybe a minuscule amount. Like, it's policy.
I guarantee you, if I were to meet in person with the majority of the people on the Democratic debate stage, I would like them better as people than I do Donald Trump. No question about it. But I can't vote for my favorite person. It's not a popularity contest, right? And, you know, as you sit there talking and complaining about Donald Trump made his success through his daddy's money, right? And, you know, the hypocrisy of that, you know, as Kamala Harris is one of the front runners for the Democratic,
ticket.
I mean, I think she is. I don't know if she's first or second right now. I guess she's second.
She actually got taken out because of the questions she was asked about her policy on crime in California.
Oh yeah, right.
That was a great one.
But either way, she's up there as one of the main front runners. You know, top 4 for sure. And you know, she literally fucked her way into office. You know, here in San Francisco.
This is not a made believe thing. You can look it up on Washington Examiner, which is not a right leaning.
It's kind of right leaning.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's on Politico.
There you go. It's on Politico too.
And Politico is very left leaning.
Willie Brown, when she was dating him, donated what was it, $120,000 to a political career for her.
So Willie Brown, the mayor of San Francisco at the time when Kamala Harris was entering politics, she was fucking Willie Brown, who was at least 3 decades her senior, and used that
I don't mind, girls. Don't get me wrong.
Used that position to get her first, appointed position in California politics, and then that spiraled into her eventual career and getting to be district attorney and where she is now. And that all started because she was fucking the mayor of San Francisco, who was 30 years her senior, and he appointed her to positions that she did not earn through her own merit. She earned through her vagina. And
you know what's another great example of that is, like I was saying, Camille Paglia is one of my favorite people to listen to. She's also up there with Ben Shapiro. You know, Milo was kind of like the opening door for me, because he was like villainized or whatever, and I was like, okay, let me start listening. And I was like, oh, I don't mind this motherfucker. I kind of agree with this motherfucker. But Camille was one of those who like really cemented the deal for me. Listen to Camille Paglia, Paglia. She's a first wave feminist, and she is an amazing thinker and talker. She went on this rant about Lena Dunham, which just I adore, dude. I wanted to put it on the album. If I had a fucking more time or energy or money, I would do that. I actually reached out to the where she did the interview to see if I could use the clip, and they were like, yeah, sure. So I might put it on another album. But yeah, her diatribe about Lena Dunham is beautiful. Look it up on Spiked.
You got Kamala Harris, who fucked her way into politics.
Oh, that's what my point was. She said, why in the hell would I vote for Hillary? Hillary, even though she's espousing feminism, got her job because of who she was married to.
Right. Yeah.
Like, isn't that anti-feminist?
Well, and Elizabeth Warren, talked about like using minority privilege and abusing it, claimed Native American heritage, and therefore was able to, through affirmative action type rules and so forth, get a leg up in getting into law school. And that's how she was able to climb the ranks that she, they've all done it. Not all. Those people have done it through sketchy means. And then they point and say, well, Donald Trump earned his, success through his daddy's money and blah, 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 blah. Like, you can't have it one way and not the other. You have to look at both. And you can't... You can't knock one person for using their quote-unquote privilege and then somebody else who's abusing privilege by claiming to be Native American and then trying to claim that their genes actually prove it when they came back like 1/1032nd or whatever the hell it was. I mean, it's,
but even then, the reality is too is if you want to really say like one thing at a time, right? So like you guys who hate Trump, like the thing about he got it was his daddy's money. All right, hang on. Bill de Blasio is a rich motherfucker and cannot buy people liking him at all. Nobody, especially the people of New York where he's the mayor, like Bill de Blasio. Nobody fucking likes Bill de Blasio. I think he's got like 0.01% of the vote in the polls right now as far as people enjoying him. He's full of shit. He's got money, but nobody fucking likes him. So money is not what turned the trick for Trump. It's just, it isn't. Like, maybe some of his business, whatever, but as far as his daddy giving him the money, he didn't get into politics until being the goddamn president of the United States of America.
That's true.
So, it wasn't the money that did it, you know what I mean? Like, but with Kamala, it was the money that did it. With, with her vagina that did it. And maybe she loved him, you never know. But...
I mean, hell, she like tried to hide from the fact that there was a relationship there until he came out and was like, "Yeah, we fucked.
Yeah,
we dated."
Of course he would. That's a man too. He's like 70, 80 years old. He don't give a fuck no more. He's like, "Yeah, I fuck that bitch." You know what I mean? I respect that. I respect an old man not giving a fuck. I do.
But going back to the point, like there are Democratic candidates that I like as people. I like Yang. I
like Yang too. I don't mind him.
I like Yang. I like Buttigieg, Mayor
Geek.
Pete.
Right.
I mean, I like them as people. They are amicable. They are, smart. They are, they have a good demeanor and they're articulate and they make good points. But the problem is, like, when you see past the short-term kindness and the likability and you actually think long-term of what would these impacts or what would these policies actually impact, you start realizing, if you are honest with what these policies do. I mean, Democratic policies destroy America.
Right.
Every inner city, Baltimore being the recent example, has been historically led by Democrats who are just damaging and
right.
It's groupthink that we as blacks or we as gays or we as
right.
we are supposed to, we are meant to support these people.
It's coming apart too. It's coming apart.
Finally, people
I'm
are
so
realizing,
happy.
wait, this doesn't
Identity
work.
politics is drowning in a bucket, and I'm holding its fucking head down. Jordan Peterson is holding its head. All these people who are speaking up. It's holding his head under the fucking water and let it die. I'm gonna jerk off on identity politics' face when it's dead. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait, because the reality is it's not fitting into, what was that meme someone posted? I love it. I love it when someone posts, especially on the left. It sometimes happens on the right, for sure. But someone posts a meme from the left, and they posted, if it was a tweet. It was a screenshotted tweet, which is the same thing. They said, if black people who were the ones who were buying up AR-15s, we would have gun control in like tomorrow night. Watch. And I'm sure they were like, watch. Is that a point yet? Point. I'm so fucking smart. And a black guy posted a picture of himself with a selfie with a shit ton of AR-15s in the background. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and only liberal people have been the ones trying to take my fucking guns.
Yeah.
I'm like, attaboy. Yeah. Fuck identity politics. It's a black person. It's a woman. Blah, 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 blah. You fucking idiots. You know it. You know it in your bones that you're full of shit. You know it. Pay attention to that feeling in your belly, because it's fucking right. That feeling in your belly that you feel guilty around that. There was another one. Oh, I have to fucking talk about this. You were talking about, because it does happen on the right. People post bullshit memes. People post weird shit.
It happens on both sides.
And I can't, in being somebody who wants to be
there are morons on both sides of the aisle. Let me make that blatantly clear.
In wanting to be well-researched, there was one I wanted to share the other day, and I was just like, wait a second. I mean, they make a very salient, there's a very good point, but let me, ease back. Don't share it yet. There was, and I do my research. Now, there was one where it was going around the other day, and it was a quote from Anne Frank. And it said, what was the quote? It said something to the effect of, it was a quote from her book where she said, people are, children will leave and come back home and their parents are gone that day. Police will kick in the doors and take families, apart. And they were sharing that in order to say, look, I don't want the kids at the border to be separated from the family. I don't want ICE agents. Now, let me make one thing fucking clear. I get that your heart is in the right place by sharing that, but it's wildly disrespectful to the victims of the fucking Nazis. It's wildly childish and disrespectful to equate ICE and Nazis. It's fucking disgusting. The fact that these children would just share that quote from Anne Frank out of context in that way. It's fucking wretchedly selfish.
And if you actually do your due diligence and look into what ICE agents actually do on a day-to-day basis, number one, the majority of ICE agents are Latino.
Yep.
Number two,
because they have to be. They have to speak Spanish.
Yes. They are mostly Latino, especially in Texas and California. And, to claim that these Latino Americans who are trying to secure the rest of us Americans from crime and drugs that are coming in and killing us, literally, not to mention are damaging our economy and drowning out, social welfare programs by all the benefits that these people are reaping the rewards of and all the things that are actually harming you and me.
Right.
All they're trying to do is protect them and uphold the laws that they have been sworn in to uphold. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not doing anything morally bad. They are literally just like a cop. Right. There are bad cops, there are bad ICE agents. I guarantee you there are bad ones. But the vast majority of them are loving, caring people. And if you will watch the stories of what they actually do and the good they're doing for these people, even the ones that are breaking the law when they're actually like trying to help them and they've been coming through, the desert trying to get across the border and they're actually, giving them clothes off their back and wiping off their faces and giving them bottled water from their own bags and trying to actually help these people. But simultaneously, yes, upholding the law. Like, demonizing the ICE agents is so childish and ridiculous. It's absurd. And, it's the same thing as demonizing every cop because there are a few bad apples out there that have, done some horrible things.
Right.
And now that all cops are, bad people, and you've got these people squirting water all over the cops in New York City, and they're not allowed to do anything in return.
Because of Bill de Blasio.
What a douche
faggot ass nigga.
God,
Fuck
what a
that
douche
motherfucker.
It goes back to, the issue of morals, right? And those of us on the right look at that and say, where are your morals, right? And people on the left are saying, that's not morally wrong. Cops are evil, cops are bad. But, in my very first podcast, if you go back and listen to it, I guess you said it was 34, like I talked about the 5 things that make up morality and how the left only focuses on, 2 things, which they call fairness and harm, right? And those are the 2 things that the left raise up above anything else on the moral spectrum, and they only focus on, is this fair and does it do harm, right? There are 5 other pillars of morality that, philosophers and everybody have defined as morality, and those other 3 things, rather, there are 5 of them. The other 3 things are authority, respect for ICE agents, respect for the cops, respect for the law, the Constitution, things that conservatives tend to respect. There's also what they call in-group or loyalty, which is basically protecting those that are on your in-group, and that can also mean protecting your values and the things that you uphold.
Family.
Like the family, like the, Christian beliefs. It's demonized now to be Christian and and that's awful. Yeah. But those things are upheld by people on the right, and that's part of their morality. And then similarly, what's the 5th one? It's purity, and that's not like necessarily things like being waiting until you're married to have sex, or not eating pork if you're Jewish. Like, yeah, those could be defined as like religious purity, but I'm talking more about like, yeah, there are things that people just view as harms to their values, to their morals, things that are eroding the things that they believe in, like the family, like the core of the American family.
A way to put purity might be, if would be maybe the opposite of gluttony, maybe, in a way. So like, as an example, purity would be, I know if I eat 58 pizzas in a matter of a couple of days, I'm going to be fat and I'm going to hurt myself. So like, you're trying to like, maybe something like
there are
in that
extremes
way.
Of it that there could be that religious extremist, and that's what the left is going to point at as why it's not moral. But there are people who just don't support gay marriage, right? I support gay marriage. I'm perfectly cool with any two people who love each other getting married and getting the rights and the, that is fine by me.
If they're of age, but, Epstein.
But there are people who morally don't believe in that, and they think that it is eroding those things that they uphold as good and true and pure. And who am I to judge their disagreement with that? Like, it doesn't, if they're, anyway, the point is that's one extreme, and then there are others that are less like intrusive of other people's lives, and they're more about, like just doing things for your own cleanliness and
self-care,
that old curmudgeon who's like, that kid probably doesn't even make his bed when he wakes up in the morning. Like, it can be that trivial, but it's discipline.
There are mental
and
there are mental and emotional benefits to being disciplined, but the left decides, let's throw that out completely, because really, you know what I think it is? The only things that these like super leftist atheists really have any ties to, as far as the hypocrisy goes, before Trump, is a couple of gay politicians making believe that they're not gay and criminalizing gay people. Like, okay, that's hypocritical. The fucking what else? The goddamn goddamn Christian crusades long fucking time ago. What else?
Yeah, but then at the same time, the left is all in support of like Middle Eastern cultures and Sharia law, which is like murdering gay people and chopping women's
stoning
heads off
them to
for
death.
Taking their showing their shoulder. You can't
bad
have it
news.
both ways.
Bad news, liberals. Brown people do bad things too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Aha. Have you ever met a woman who's molested somebody? I have. Aha, it doesn't fit into these fucking benefits. It doesn't fit into these, all women good, all men bad. Duh. You're a stupid fucking idiot. You're a fucking turd if you think that. Sorry.
No. And so this all stemmed from, talking about the Democratic primaries and the debates and how they're trying to out-left each other. And like, it's disappointing, because I think I would love to see these people's actual views and their actual beliefs and them stand for what they actually want to do, as opposed to pandering to the extreme left like you were talking about. Right. And even it comes down to like Pete Buttigieg. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Buttigieg.
Isn't it Buttigieg? It is Buttigieg. I don't even know the motherfucker, and I know how to.
Well, I know. I think some pronounce it Buttigieg and some pronounce it Buttigieg. So I don't know. Anyway, it's he of course, pandering to the left, has demonized Mike Pence, because Mike Pence was governor of Indiana. He's a mayor of an Indiana town, and they've had a personal relationship. And he talks about how terrible he is and how he's a bad representative of his home state and blah 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 blah. But then you go back in history, before Mike Pence was vice president and was demonized by the entire left. Like, they had a very solid relationship. There's quotes by Pete and there's quotes by Vice President Pence that are like, I really like this guy. I respect him. I appreciate the things he's doing. Like, they had a very positive working relationship. And then all of a sudden, when Pete wanted to rise up in the political ranks, he had to demonize somebody who he used to have a positive, respectful relationship for. And that's just fake. That's just bullshit.
But the left has been doing this for a very long time. A great follow, if you want to follow somebody who's with the walkaway movement, is this little gay kid named Mike Harlow. I'll have him on my show at some point. He's a fucking hilarious motherfucker. And he's actually based, I think, in New York too, so I'm gonna get him while I'm out there. And he had this wonderful post a few days ago where he literally listed, I don't know where he got the list from, but he got listed quotes from back in the 60s about Reagan and and the 70s and the or not Reagan. There were a bunch of these left-leaning people quotes about the right, and it was always, he's stoking hate, and he's stoking racism. We're going back to Jim Crow and like every single fucking person who like every single quote was, you could hear it now about Trump. The idea that these guys on the left, and I'm appealing to you, please, you don't have to like Trump, but I'm appealing to you, please take it one thing at a time. Don't rope it in that every single time Trump makes a faux pas, it's a racist faux pas.
Right.
Like, it's childish, and I believe that you're smarter than that. Yeah. I believe that you're fucking smarter. Peter from Carlsbad hates Trump, and Baltimore was not fucking racist.
Baltimore is a rat-infested shithole where a human being wouldn't want to live. Oh, he just called blacks in Baltimore non-human beings because they live there. Then you go back to quotes by the exact congressman who is talking about
Isn't it the mayor of the black?
First, the congressman who he's calling out,
okay,
is saying the same shit about his own city,
because
saying how awful it is. He just got robbed. His home just got broken into in Baltimore before Trump made these comments. So it's not somebody that Trump stoked the hate. The burglary actually happened before. Like, that's how dangerous this city is. Right. And the mayor, black African-American woman mayor, was walking through this part of Baltimore. It's on video recording, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is awful. You can actually smell the rats. You can smell the stench of the
Bernie
filth."
Sanders a few years ago as well. He was walking through.
When they say it's not racist, it's fact.
Exactly.
And then when Donald Trump says these same facts, all of a sudden it's racist. Or when Barack Obama says the exact same things about immigration policy, saying that we need to stop these criminals from coming over the border and we need to secure our border and make sure that there's no Obama said it, Clinton said it, all they said it. Right. But when somebody on the right says it, now we can twist it to fit our narrative that they're hateful, they're bigoted, and blah 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 blah. It's no more bigoted when he says it than when Barack Obama says it. It's just a matter of policy that needs to be enacted that your whole side tended to agree with, but now all of a sudden, because it's just a political issue as opposed to a policy issue, you change your entire argument, and that's complete bullshit. And that's the way the left works. You change your argument to fit the narrative that can potentially gain you power, right? And the conservative side has just stayed true to what it has always stood for, and there's no
loose on some things, the gay marriage
I'm not talking
angle.
about like the policies changing. I'm just talking about like
values, morals,
exactly, and
self-sufficiency. So two things. Bernie, it was a great video when all that was happening of Bernie walking through during the 2016 campaign, where he was like, "Oh, this is like a war zone." So he was saying the exact same things about Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to share it when I get ready to share this episode. Clips of black men and women from Baltimore being interviewed on the street after all these comments came out. Black men and women going like, "No, yeah, he's right. Yeah. We applaud you, President Trump. Thank you for doing that."
Absolutely.
You're being duped, liberals. You're being fucking duped.
No. I wish more people would listen. Like, because there's such a rift, people don't even listen to. I mean, I'm sure most of your viewers turned it off halfway through because we said things that offended them or they disagreed with.
You love me.
And, it bothers me because I try my best to listen to the other side. Doesn't mean I try my best to agree with it. I know that I have cognitive dissonance just like you do. And I know that I believe the things that I believe, and I will hear the things that support it and block out the things that don't. Like, that's human nature, and I do that just as much as everybody else does. The hypocrisy, I do believe, comes out more from the left, where,
at least these days,
where you hear something said by one person and there's silence or there's no reaction or there's agreement, and then the same comment comes from somebody who you disagree with, and all of a sudden it's this big uproar. And I wish more people would listen to people like, I don't know, Candace Owens talking about the walk away, right? Like, Candace Owens, a young black woman who has left the liberal side and become an outspoken conservative. She's not hateful. She's not bigoted. She's not, but the sad fact is that I have to even point out that she's a black woman, right? Like, that comes from like the left. Like, I have to point that out to leftists just so they'll pay attention to her.
Right.
I don't care that she's a black woman.
Right.
I don't care whether she's purple, orange, or whatever. Like, I tend to agree with what she's saying. I care that she left left-leaning beliefs and started seeing the light, so to speak, in her own words.
Right.
And, I love listening to her talk because she speaks truth and reason to how she changed her mindset and why.
And a piece of it is fun because it pokes a hole in the identity politics argument in general.
Exactly. Like, I hate identity politics so much. I hate it so much. And, unfortunately, it affects you and me and everybody else. And I can't even get involved in certain arguments, whether it's abortion or what have you, because I'm a white male, right? Or I can't talk about, the issues of affirmative action or minority struggles because I'm white. I can't talk about women's issues because I'm a man. I can't talk about gays issues because I'm straight, and that's complete bullshit. And, they affect me not necessarily the same as they do those people, but they affect me because I have friends that are gay, friends that are black, friends that are women, and I care about their well-being and how policies and
the end game doesn't make sense for their benefit either. If it came down to a vote right now, if we all decided we're going to have open borders because of poor Mexicans, because Mexicans can't be self-supporting, Mexicans can't gear up because they're brown. If we all had a vote right now, if we use that same logic, we would effectively say that white men and women don't have a right to say positive things either towards that because of their skin color, right? I mean, wouldn't that, you know what I mean? Like,
you can't support. I mean, if you can't disagree with it, why can you agree with it, right? Why should you have any opinion, right?
Right. Should there be separate Supreme Courts, one that's mixed for stuff that doesn't matter? Should there be a women's Supreme Court when it comes to like women's issues? Should there be a black Supreme Court for people
I work for
black
a tech
issues?
Company here in San Francisco, right? And there's some employees that have raised some concern because our percentage of computer engineers that are female is quote unquote too low. I think like 19% of our companies. Engineers are women, right? But then you look at the graduation rates of engineers, and it's about 19% female, right? So we are actually right in line with where we should be. But they want it to be 50-50, which is not balance, that's imbalance, because that's a smaller pool of women getting more jobs, and that's the same way affirmative action works. And Peterson talks about this really well. He says, women happen to be genetically and just biologically better with people, with relationships, with connection with human beings. Men happen to be better with quantitative, mathematical, computer technical roles, and that's why you see more women nurses and more men computer scientists and engineers. And that's not sexism, that's not imbalance, that's just a matter of fact of how we are different, right? And it doesn't mean that there need to be more male nurses or there need to be more female computer scientists. There needs to be the opportunity for male nurses to get a position in nursing if and when they want to be that, and there needs to be the opportunity for the women to be in computer science and engineering if they need that. But you don't need to go set rules and regulations that say we have to have a certain percentage, because let people do what drives them to be what they want to be. And I guarantee you, if any business wants to succeed, they're going to hire the best person regardless of color or gender or any of those things. So that's just where I stand. I don't know where we got off on that.
No, but I mean, it's absolutely true.
Just the whole identity issue. Like people being able to say things, do things, think things because of the way that they were born. And I just vehemently disagree with that. I mean,
from my estimate, I believe that most people these days are really like I've had lots of different people from lots of different walks of life on the show. No one has really been anti-gay. There's been one guy who's like, I think gay people choose to be gay. And I'm like, okay. We disagreed on that thing, but we agreed on a bunch of other things. Number one, and that's out of, I've had some repeats. So let's say 80 people, 85 people that I've had on the show so far, right? Now, I've also... maybe 80. So I've also had very liberal people. And there's only been one time where it was that same level of disagreement where a lady said, I think rape jokes are okay unless you're a white male. And so I was like, yeah, that's... And then we disagreed politely, and then I moved on. So out of that many people, I have an insane amount of hope because of this podcast. I have an insane amount of the reality when you get people alone, and yes, I'm recording it, but often people are anonymous anyway, so they don't feel too crazy about it. But I essentially feel that most of us are in the middle. Most of us are really just libertarian as fuck. We just leave my shit alone.
I agree.
Don't tell me that I shouldn't be allowed to smoke something or marry somebody who I want to marry.
I agree.
But also don't tell me I'm not allowed to say things that I want to fucking say or believe in.
If you made a Venn diagram of our entire American society, like most people would fit into that middle area, right? And they don't realize it. They align with one side or the other against many of their own beliefs. And that's the nature of two-party politics, and that's what I hate about it. I mean, two-party politics is horrendous, and it forces people to vote against their own beliefs. And there's no right solution, right? There's never going to be a politician. I mean, there might be a politician who aligns with a single person's every single view, but by and large, nobody is ever going to agree with every single thing. And the crazy thing is people start twisting their own beliefs so that they convince themselves that they agree with somebody across the board, and they don't. If they truly ask themselves, what are the things that I care about, that I believe in, that I value, that I want for myself, my family, my loved ones, my children, and there are things that they are voting against solely because they're supposed to, because they're supposed to be a Democrat or they're supposed to be a Republican, and I'm guilty of it too.
Absolutely.
I am a libertarian. It does tend to align me more with the right, because, quite frankly, libertarianism ultimately results in, self-responsibility, and, we are responsible for our own actions and our own, behaviors, and my own property, and what I earn, I keep. And, I do believe those things. And, social programs that have come from the left have pushed me far away from that, even though there are things that left people support strongly. Gay marriage, gay rights, is a very simple example, that, of course, like, if some politician were to get up and say, Mike Pence, for example, that, gay people are evil, and he's never said that, but if they were to say that, I would strongly disagree with them, but I would have to, I can't pick one issue in the realm of thousands upon thousands of things that are on the table, and that's the thing about today's politics. There's really only 4 or 5 hot buttons that people talk about, healthcare, abortion, Second Amendment, now it's, First Amendment speech issues are becoming more of a problem, especially because
you cannot be anti-Trump when it comes to free speech. Come on. Everybody I've talked to loves, fucking Jim Norton always talks about it. If you hate Trump a million times, you could hate him, not vote for him, whatever. He's 100% right about the media. He's 100% right when it comes to freedom of speech. Fuck this dog shit about shutting down the other side or trying to figure out a way to shut people like me up. Fuck you, motherfucker. Like, absolute free speech means absolute free speech.
No question.
Fuck England in its mouth. Fuck England. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, suppression of speech because you disagree with it is ridiculous.
You can literally go to jail in England for a racist tweet. Fuck England in its face. Fuck England. I said it. Goddamn. Fuck that bullshit country. Gives a fuck. Overpriced anyway.
It's terrifying that people are scared to speak their truth. The truth, not even their truth. I hate when people say their truth, because there is no their truth. There's only a truth and an opinion.
Right.
But when I say their truth, I more so mean a person's opinion, a person's belief, and people aren't even able to speak their beliefs comfortably and safely because they're afraid of being told that they're bigoted and they're wrong when they're not. Nope. And I'm fortunate that. Or unfortunate, you take your pick, but I mean that I have no problem speaking about what I believe and what I feel and what I think, and I put it out there.
It's fortunate.
I put it out there on Facebook, and sure, I guarantee you there are people that have unfriended me or unfollowed me, and some people that don't even necessarily disagree with me, that just quite frankly don't give a fuck what I have to say, and that's fine. Like, I'm not important. I put my thoughts out there because I know I am, a minority as far as the thought minority amongst my peer group,
and you seem to choose your battles well. You're not out there every day. No. Like, there are some people both on the right and the left who share political opinions every day, and I'm like, all right, shut the fuck up. Can you talk about music for a second, like, or just go away for a week and then come back? Like, you seem to choose your battles well.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even want to call them battles. Like, they are to a certain degree. Like, they can be argumentative, but it's never meant to be attacking people's other views. Like, I'm open to hearing what they have to say, and hopefully they're open to hearing my counter argument and my disagreement and my dissension from whatever they're pointing out there. I try to rely on facts and statistics and reality, and a lot of times you can't argue reality and facts with emotion, and that tends to be a breaking point, and a lot of discussion is somebody who's arguing based on emotion with somebody who's arguing based on just pure fact, and that's where your Ben Shapiro's and your Jordan Petersons come in, is when they come purely from fact, they're then called bigots But how can a fact be bigoted? A fact is just a fact. It's just a number that is based on statistical reality, you know, and people are, you know, just for stating the reality are called bigots. And they're not giving an opinion. They're not giving a belief. They're literally stating something that is a truth. And then they're called bigoted for it. And that's absurd to me. Like the ability for the left to take somebody who's not even using creative thought. They're not thinking, they're stating. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like they're just stating a fact, and then
Asians are bad drivers.
I mean, but you could. I honestly don't know the statistics, but you could probably
I
you could
drive
probably
Uber.
pull up statistics that prove things like that.
Now
like,
that doesn't mean, I say it all the time, that doesn't mean I want them to have licenses taken away, but I'm gonna keep saying it. All right, number one, because fuck you, I say what I want. Number two, it's fucking true.
you know, and if
That's fact.
You know, when somebody in this heat of the moment around gun violence starts talking about, like, you know, just the sheer, it was Neil Tyson.
Oh
Neil
my
deGrasse
God,
Tyson.
that was wonderful. He
Neil deGrasse
absolutely.
Tyson, like he just used like scientific statistical fact just to kind of put things in perspective. He wasn't saying this gun violence isn't bad. He wasn't saying ignore it. He wasn't saying let's not make a big deal of it. He was just saying, hey, for reference, this is how many people have died from mass shootings in the
34
last 5 years.
or two days.
And
He
2
said
days. And
in
in that
48
same 2
hours, we've
days-
lost 34 people to mass shootings. We've lost 200 to obesity. We've lost
We've
an
lost,
incredible
you know,
amount of shit.
Several hundred to opioid overdose. We've lost, you know.
I think it was like 70 to gang violence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's incredible shit.
Again, stating facts. And then he's called insensitive and sure,
Right.
like timing is important. And
Sure.
when people's emotions are heightened around these mass shootings, like you need to pick your battles at the right time.
Right.
And
He's just a
I don't-
goddamn scientist. He
Yeah,
don't.
he's
you
a
know.
scientist, and that's the way he thinks. And then for people to twist it into an emotional argument
Right.
when he wasn't making an emotional argument, right? And so you're conflating emotion with statistics and facts, and those two worlds can't coexist a lot of the time.
Right.
And that's where the breakdown and discussion happens. And quite frankly, a lot of time the emotional argument comes from people on the left, and the factual argument comes from people on the right. And then the people on the right are called insensitive or bigoted or racist or misogynist or whatever you want to pick out. And they're not making emotional arguments. They're making statistical, factual statements. And you can't get anywhere with that. You just can't go. You can't get anywhere. And you know, when people are shut down from talking just because they have, literal, factual statements to make, that's a problem. And we're not even like that's not even a freedom of speech issue. Like, quite frankly, like that is a fascist world. That is a George Orwell, Orwellian dystopian world that we're moving into when facts are silenced for the sake of somebody's emotional security.
I will ask you this, and before we start wrapping up, you said that you have served on boards of philanthropic, gains and things like that. Gains isn't the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Has there ever been a time where you've been? Has there been a time where you've been canceled, like quote unquote canceled at that level, or interpersonally because of where someone saw your good deed and completely threw it out the window because of your political beliefs that they found out?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say to the level of like having a position removed or
being a pariah.
But I will say that I have to be conscientious of, and that's a sad reality, but I have to be careful about my views in certain circles, right? And call it weak, and not real. But when I come out here to our office, which is based in San Francisco, like I work for a healthcare technology consulting firm, and there's a lot of healthcare discussion there. And a lot of people at the company are not healthcare economists or experts in the field of healthcare. They are experts in the field of technology. And so they lean on some of us who have more experience, and there's only a handful, more from the business, economic, healthcare sphere. And there was like a Slack discussion just this week around some new policies and so forth. And, people were talking about Medicare for all, which I vehemently oppose. And I have to temper down, even in my realm of expertise, which is like the healthcare economic area. Doesn't mean I know that I'm right. It just means that I have strong opinions that are based on experience and knowledge. I have to temper those because I don't want to ruffle feathers in my own office, and that's terrible. Like that's not good for anybody. Like, instead of being able to just stand there and say, like, no, this is why I was hired. This is why I'm here, and this is what I was brought in to teach and to educate. Now it's more meant to face externally. I can comfortably say those things to our clients and the people that we're getting revenue from, but I can't even necessarily talk about them at their core with my own colleagues because, somebody could be uncomfortable and pissed off and what have you. And that's just the reality of having an office in San Francisco, to be honest. I mean, you people in San Francisco are nuts, and the rest of the world knows it, and you guys live in this bubble and don't realize that everybody points and laughs.
That's fun. Well, I'm glad, and if there was a way, like, if it makes you feel any better, like, I think even people in San Francisco, one of the things that I've, even though I have this podcast and it's definitely polarizing, it's definitely, I felt heartened by a lot of the secret support that I've gotten for it. I mean, it's not good enough. You're all cunts, and you need to share this.
I think it goes
and
back
subscribe
to your point,
and
like,
leave us a review and rate it. But
if you were to get 10 liberals and 10 conservatives in a room, like, there would be a lot of conservatives that got along with the liberals and conservatives that didn't get along with the conservatives and liberals that didn't get along with the liberal. Like,
right.
There would be a blending of personalities that
right.
people wouldn't expect. And,
right.
You wouldn't believe that if you watched today's media and the news.
Right.
The rift and the disconnect is real, but it's also not real on the personal level. Yeah. And that's what sucks, because right. There's this giant rift and the ability to talk about things and to discuss things and to agree on things. But when you really get two human beings together talking, I think there's a lot more agreement and connection and
right.
understanding than you would actually otherwise believe if you were just to, like, look from 10,000 feet and see it from afar. Even on somebody's news feed, like. Right. And I love the fact that I have people that I can talk to that I know disagree with me, but I can have conversations with them. And then there are those that are just not willing to talk. And,
But childish comes in all shapes and sizes.
Sure.
You're just childish.
Sure.
You don't care so much about brown people. You're just childish. So suck a dick. I will say, and I wrap it up every 5 fucking seconds, but I will say, also, my big fight as far as the 10 people, 10 liberals and 10 conservatives in a room, they are all, if we do take that big step back, they all mean well.
They do.
They all mean well. So to assume that the other side is they're just all snowflakes. Well, yeah, but they also mean well. Oh, they're all just racist. No, but they mean well. I think to assume that the other side means well, to fight for free speech and to kill identity politics is really the goal of this podcast, to humanize everybody.
Totally. I love that about this, and I commend you for having it and bringing people on that you have and sharing it with the audience that you do, and quite frankly, starting it in the city that you did. Mm. And to what you said, I totally agree. And, like, my disagreement with the policies and the economics and the politics of the left doesn't mean that I think they are evil or bad or wrong. I don't even just believe, I know that they mean well. Doesn't mean right. the people at the very upper echelon mean well, but the boots on the ground, you and me on the street, mean well and want well for our fellow man, and
right.
we just want different ways to achieve it. And
right. And we also can be blinded by self-centeredness
when it resorts to, like you said, to anybody who disagrees with me is a snowflake, or anybody who disagrees with you is a bigot. Like, that's where everything breaks down. And I hate that about today's just environment. And it's gonna, it's exactly what whoever they might be, but the man, that's what they want. They want us, disagreeing with each other, separating from each other, and basically that gives more power to those in power. And as a libertarian, that's the last thing I want, right? I want the power in our hands, and right. politicians, they work for us, right? We as a country succeed despite them, not because of them, and that's exactly how I believe and how I know that this country thrived for so long. And right now, and more so, unfortunately, for some of your listeners, I believe that the left is looking for the government to solve our problems and have that control and that power. That's where the socialism and the democratic socialist of America would be, is give it to the government and let them control it. And that's quite frankly
terrifying.
The last thing that our forefathers wanted, and certainly the last thing I want, and it would be detrimental to all of us.
Right. Well, right on. Thanks for coming on the show again.
Love you, bro. Love it. Love it. Love your listeners, whether you hate me or you like me.
No, they love you. They love everybody. There's only been like, I've heard a couple of people. God. I don't. Whatever you guys need to do between the two of you, I just don't involve me. I love you both, but it's just none of my business. Ladies and gentlemen. I was planning on fucking doing that shit too. Ladies and gentlemen, you can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can sign up for $1 a month, $2, $5, $20, whatever. My big ass album release party, September 13th, Friday, September 13th, Brick and Mortar. Buy your tickets now. It's $12 up ahead, $15 at the door, or day of actually. So even if you go, if you're driving from San Jose and you want to buy your tickets, it's $15 fucking that day. So save your $3 to $6 to $9. Now, that's going to be at Brick and Mortar Music Hall. There's going to be me with my full band, 9 original songs, 3 cover songs, drag queen, DJ, full band. Jefferson Berge from the show is going to open for me. My dad, Rick Feliciano, who's on episode, I think it was 70, 71. Amazing episode. Go listen. Rick Feliciano. And he arranged horns on the album. He's actually going to be there to play as well. Awesome. So and he's arranging. Actually, he only did 2 songs of the 9. He's actually arranging extra shit for the rest of the tracks. So this is going to be exclusive shit.
I heard some of the covers that they're doing. It's going to be badass. He shared with me a couple of the covers that he and his father and doing, and
I have
it's
to
going
cut
to be legit.
That part out, but I will, because it's secret. But I
thought just the songs was secret.
No, but it's whatever. There's gonna be secret surprise guests, so you need to show up. But my dad is on the bill. So and you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Share this with your friends. Subscribe right now. Hit the bell on YouTube so you can listen every week. Every Monday there's a new episode every Monday. And down also on iTunes, on Spotify. Subscribe and make sure you leave a review. And I love you all very much. I'll see you guys on Friday, September 13th. Thank you very much, Alex, for coming on the show.
Yeah, bro. My pleasure.
And we'll see you guys later. Bye.